The first thing everyone noticed about Lily Hart was how quiet she was. Not the kind of quiet that felt cold or distant, but the kind that moved softly through a room, careful not to disturb anything. She worked as a waitress at the Silver Crown Cafe, a refined little place, tucked between luxury boutiques and glass towers in the heart of the city. The cafe served politicians, celebrities, and business titans who liked to pretend they were ordinary for half an hour each morning. Lily blended into the background perfectly, head slightly bowed, brown hair always tied back, movements precise and respectful. Most customers barely remembered her face, only the gentle way she set down their cups and the warmth of her shy smile. Lily was 23 years old, but her eyes carried the weight of someone much older. She had grown up in a world where silence was not emptiness but language. Her mother, Emma Hart, had been deaf since childhood. Lily learned sign language before she learned to speak in full sentences. At home, hands spoke louder than voices. Emotions were expressed through motion, through touch, through eyes that listened carefully. Lily had learned early that words were not the only way to be heard. When Lily was 16, her mother passed away after a long illness. The small apartment they shared became unbearably quiet, not because there was no sound, but because there was no one left who understood Lily's hands the way her mother had. To survive, Lily worked multiple jobs, studied at night, and carried her grief like a fragile glass hidden beneath her ribs. She spoke little, not because she had nothing to say, but because the world rarely waited long enough to listen. At the cafe, Lily had developed a habit. When customers waited for their orders, she unconsciously moved her fingers under the counter, signing fragments of thoughts to no one in particular. Sometimes it was a memory, sometimes it was a silent prayer. No one ever noticed until the morning Victor Hale walked in. Victor Hale was not just rich. He was legendary, a self-made billionaire whose companies dominated industries from technology to healthcare. He was known for his sharp mind, sharper tongue, and complete intolerance for inefficiency. Employees trembled when his name appeared on schedules. That morning, the cafe manager personally wiped down Victor's table 3 times before he arrived. Victor entered with his usual presence, tall, composed, eyes scanning the room like a man accustomed to control. Beside him walked his mother, Eleanor Hale, holding his arm. Eleanor was elegant in a quiet, dignified way, her silver hair styled neatly, her posture proud. She was deaf, a fact the staff had been warned about. Victor handled communication for her everywhere they went. "Quick service," Victor told the manager, his voice calm but commanding. "My mother doesn't like to wait." Lily was assigned their table. Her hands trembled slightly as she approached, not because Victor intimidated her, but because Eleanor's eyes reminded her so much of her mother's. Curious, observant, and searching for connection. Lily set down the menus and smiled politely. Before Victor could speak, Lily did something unexpected. She raised her hands. In gentle, graceful movements, Lily signed, "Good morning, welcome, I'm Lily. I'll take care of you today." Eleanor's eyes widened. Her breath caught. Slowly, carefully, she lifted her own hands and signed back, her movements a little stiff with age but full of emotion. "You know sign language?" Lily nodded, smiling shyly. "My mother was deaf." For the first time since entering the cafe, Victor froze. "What's going on?" he asked, glancing between them. Eleanor touched his arm urgently, signing with excitement he hadn't seen in years. Victor struggled to keep up, his own sign language rusty and basic. "She's speaking to me," Eleanor signed. "Not through you, to me." Victor looked at Lily, truly looked at her for the first time. She stood there nervously, hands folded, eyes lowered respectfully. She hadn't meant to disrupt anything. She had only followed her heart. Throughout breakfast, Lily signed every detail to Eleanor, the menu, the ingredients, even small jokes about the chef's obsession with perfect eggs. Eleanor laughed silently, her shoulders shaking with joy. Other customers stared, confused, as the shy waitress communicated fluently, beautifully, in a language most of them had never learned. Victor watched in silence. Something unfamiliar stirred in his chest. He had spent his life conquering markets, acquiring companies, solving problems with logic and money. Yet here was something he could not buy, a connection he had neglected for years. He realized with a sting of shame that he often spoke for his mother instead of listening to her. He thought he was helping. He had been wrong. When the meal ended, Eleanor reached for Lily's hands, holding them tightly. Her eyes glistened. "Thank you," she signed slowly. "You made me feel seen." Lily swallowed hard. "It's my honor," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Victor stood abruptly, emotion threatening his carefully built composure. He placed a generous tip on the table, far more than the meal cost. But something told him money wasn't enough. "What days do you work?" he asked Lily. She hesitated. "Most days, sir." Victor nodded slowly. "Good, we'll be back." As they left, Eleanor turned one last time and signed, "Don't stop using your hands. They're a gift." Lily watched them go, unaware that her quiet courage had just set something powerful in motion. And somewhere deep inside Victor Hale, a wall had cracked, one built not from cruelty, but from years of misunderstanding. If this story has touched your heart so far, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that real communication isn't about words, it's about connection.